Hey everybody, we got a great show lined up for you today. We got Coach Abasi, we got Mac, we even got the paparazzi in the building. I don't know where D-Ray got the paparazzi from, but we even got the paparazzi in the building. We got Sister Coco over there in the place. If you haven't picked up this CD yet, you are missing it. This sister right here, old man, sweetheart, give it to me, we do it again. I'm telling you, pick up this sister's material because it'll be a blessing to your ears. Oh, go ahead and share the video. To all our first-time viewers, go ahead and hit the like button. To all our regular viewers, go ahead and put that heart sign up there because we're gonna have a fire show today. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yes.
Handyman, come on, bring us on there. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Send me that picture.
What the?
Send me that one. You gonna come on in here, baby? Send it to me. Come here. Come on in here. I love 941. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Reviving Mississippi Show. I'm your host, Dekeither Stamps. We got a great show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. We got our co-host here, Mr. Mac Epps. Hey, Mac, how you doing?
Doing good, sir. How about yourself?
Brother, it's been a good week.
Man, it's like you've been dropping a few pounds, bro.
Hey, we've been beating the streets, brother.
Hey, man.
It's that time. We got the best weight loss program in the city.
Your Kanye West workout plan.
Right.
That's right.
If you want to lose weight, come on and volunteer with the Dekeither Stamps campaign, and you will drop weight every day.
Boy, I tell you, we might have to go ahead. We can take callers right now if you want to come on in.
I'm about to say, is that a guarantee?
That's right. It's a guarantee. We got our other co-host here, Mr. DeRay Fogg. How you doing, DeRay?
I'm doing well. How about y'all?
What's going on in your world, brother?
Not much. I'm doing a lot of work. Doing a lot of work and trying to stay out of trouble.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. Good thing.
Hey,
Good
right.
thing.
A good, hard-working young brother like yourself, trouble is the last thing you need.
Exactly.
We got our other friend here, Coach Abasi. Coach, you got a wonderful event coming up. Talk to us a little bit about what you got going on so that people can be informed.
Well, my name is Coach Abasi, and I'm just excited about what's going on in the city of Jackson. A lot of different things are changing. And in terms of the families, our black families, we have a really wonderful event coming on at New Horizon Church, New Horizon International Church, a church that's on a hill. And the name of the event is called Forecasting Your Future Parent and Youth Conference. Now, Councilman, I said Parent and Youth Conference.
Yep.
And now, what's so great about this conference is they're going to have a car giveaway.
All right.
All you have to do is you got to have your license and pay $10, and you got to be in high school or college. And so they'll have a college giveaway, and it's just not a regular conference, but this is a conference that we're going to be talking about some very important subjects that are going to impact our community. The first subject we're going to talk about, message in the music. The second subject we're going to talk about, grandparents parent again. So that is real big as well.
Yes.
Help for single parents, how to pay for college,
Whoa.
and the importance of mentorship. So even in this campaign, Councilman Stamps, you are helping a lot of people learn how to get out there and have their own voice and express themselves. And this conference is going to be also an opportunity for people to get out and do the same thing.
Okay, sit back. Yeah, so Coach, the conference, give us the event details, time, date, location, if they want to participate, how to call, and if they would like to donate, what they need to do.
Oh, I like that last word, donate. Okay, the conference is a collaboration of New Horizon Church and Young Life Ministries, and so the conference is free. So basically, it's going to be located at 1750 Ellis Avenue. It's right in Jackson, Mississippi, and also the date's going to be April 15, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 2. So if you need to get in contact with anybody about the conference, you can call me at 601-983-8230. That's Coach Abasi. And if you can't say the word Abasi, to say Coach O.
Okay.
So basically, that's the information about the conference.
We got some serious issues when it comes to parents and youth. Breakdown of discipline and respect, and opportunities like this allow for dialogue, Because sometimes parents don't talk to their children enough.
That's right.
And in healthy and productive ways to move themselves forward. I think of a serious situation we just had in the West Side community. We had a tragic death of a young man.
Okay.
It was involved in a dice game in the park.
Mm.
And the neighbors had been calling about the young men playing dice in the front yard.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
But the police can't really do anything because they were on private property in their own front yard.
Right.
And when the police leave, you got, you know, adults watching them and participating in the dice game with the young people, you know, and all kinds of activity, you know, that goes along with that. So that's definitely, we have breakdowns of the family structure and what's allowable and acceptable inside of some of our homes is counterproductive to our community. And so opportunities like this allow for us to have a greater dialogue and to get really to the heart of things. You know, I was at a school today, and they have an issue with attendance.
Okay.
You know, the school averages on its worst days, it has about 60 young folks missing school.
Mm.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because first off, the child is missing days. You know, we got several students over there who have already missed over 30 days
Wow.
out of the school year, right? But you know, if you got 60 students missing days, you know, first the student achievement goes down.
That's right.
Because the child's behind.
Right.
Then the child, as they get behind, they don't feel motivated to catch up, right? Then on the budget side, you know, school districts lose $50 a day per child that's absent. So if you multiply 60 times, you know, $50, that's $3,000 a day that one small school's missing. But you multiply 3,000 times 180 school days.
That's a lot.
You know, so that one school is being underfunded just because of attendance, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so parents and students need to sit down and talk about what's most productive and how our activities and our habits are affecting our productivity as parents, as students, as citizens, and how it has a greater effect on our community as a whole. So, so I definitely I'm encouraging everyone to come out to the Forecasting Your Future
Yes.
Parenting Youth Conference, because we have to look at ourselves not as our right now, but as our future. So having an event to actually forecast your future, to look at yourself beyond today, and as a family, where do we want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And then how can we get there? As a parent, this is what I need to do. And as a child, this is something the children need to do, right?
Well, I was just thinking that it provides a safe place for parents to talk to each other in dialogue and learn from each other. Because a lot of the sad situation is, a lot of the situation why people are missing and not coming to school is more of a social issue that they're dealing with. You know, it could be different circumstances going on in the home.
Right,
Especially
different dynamics.
We're dealing with the parent, you know, and while the parent can't come, the kid can't come, you'd be amazed at how many kids become adults very young for taking care of the family and the younger siblings, because the parent is either, you know, involved in destructive activity like drugs and alcohol, or they're working so many jobs and they can't take care of their brothers and sisters. You know? And so there are a lot of, you know, that adds to the destruction of what you're saying and the low attendance rate.
And then, you know, also, you know, this conference, it allows the parents to understand where the child is coming from, and the child to understand where the parent is coming from.
Right.
Because
It's a dialogue instead of just a
exactly, that
just a regular
communication
conversation.
and that ability to be able to express themselves in their respective roles, that gives everybody in the household a chance to understand exactly what they mean when they give their message, or even to give them a platform to express their message.
Let's get you started. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question and comment?
I have a question. Y'all was just saying that the young men was gambling, and they can gamble in the front yard, and the police can't do nothing. Well, how can the police come to your house and raid your house for gambling? If you can gamble in the front yard in public, but you can't get your house gambling, I done heard folks going to people's houses, raiding the house of gambling and drinking and all kinds of stuff, going in their house doing it. So if you can do that in the front yard, they don't have to be out in the house behind closed doors. Police will raid the house for gambling.
All right, I appreciate
They'll
it.
raid people's house again.
Yeah. Now, there's a difference between some young men engaged in a small gambling activity in the front yard. Police pull up, they pick up the dice and the money, so forth, and then running a casino in your house.
Yeah, that's illegal.
There's a difference there, but both illegal. Both I don't agree with. I don't agree with any of that. It is the activity, but I don't think it's productive at all. You know, so I think that we're in an economic situation now. You need to not be gambling with your money, but making wise decisions. But I do want to step aside for a second, Coach, and allow one of our friends to have a seat. She calls in to every radio show known to man to share a message and to keep folks engaged. But today we have live in the studio Miss Dorothy Dot Benford.
Yes.
How you doing, Aunt Dot?
Thank you. And you know, the subject of people playing dice in their yards, playing dice in the carport. We got too many hangout houses. I call them hangout houses.
Hangout house.
Where people have nothing to do but to hang out. We need to understand that many of these houses have back patios. Go to the back of the house, entertain in the back of the house. If you drive through certain neighborhoods, you don't see anybody hanging out, but they're there. They're on the back. My house has a patio. I entertain on the patio. We don't hang out on the front. We don't be drinking beer on the front.
Right.
We go out on the back. So once we get these hangout houses away from our neighborhood, the better we are. Some of these hangout houses have drug dealers. Some of these hangout houses have prostitution and a number of activities that's doing nothing but tearing up our community. And Mr. Stamps, thank you so much for allowing me to come on your program. I had not planned to be here. I drove up and I saw Stanley and ended up looking at this station. It is beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
Mr. Evers has really created a very beautiful station. Thank you so much for letting me have a few
Well, I had to
words.
let you say a few words since you called in all the time. When we got you live, you should at least say a few words.
Oh yes, Mr. Stamps, I want to first of all congratulate you for making sure that the ordinance was passed that when people received employment from the city of Jackson, that within a year they would move into the city of Jackson. Now I understand that that's not going too well because it's not being enforced like it should be.
That's right.
So what can we as citizens do to make sure that this is enforced? I hate to put it on you.
No, let me just give a little context. What Sister Benford is addressing is the economic drain that we have in the city when it comes to employees who live outside the city but work in the city. Now, every stable neighborhood that we have in this city has retired teachers and principals and firefighters and police officers and public works folks. In every stable neighborhood, you can't go into Bel Air or Hemingway Circle or any of our stable neighborhoods and you don't have public service employees and retired public service but in those neighborhoods. So if we're going to rebuild Jackson, we need to have that to happen again. But here's the issue. The city of Jackson has about 635 employees that live outside the city, and we pay them $21 million a year. The school district,
25.
21.2 to be exact.
Oh, okay. I got a list of all of the employees and where they lived and everything, and so I used my calculator. Maybe it's not working, but at the last time that, you know, I'm sorry, okay.
And then beyond that, the school district has 3,500 employees that live outside the city, and we pay them $71 million a year.
Oh.
So if you add the 71 plus the 25 or even 21, it's over $90 million that this tax base is paying out to folks who live in other places. And I don't blame folks where they want to live, but we're trying to rebuild a city, and we need the economy needs to roll over. And they normally have spouses or significant others who they're with as well. So that could possibly double to $180 million of revenue that could be flowing through the grocery stores and the gas stations of the city because you purchase groceries and purchase things where you live. So if this tax base is pushing out $90 million of revenue to stabilize other communities, we need to move that money back for our future so we can be healthy again in the future, and hopefully we can get some proper enforcement of that orders, because as a city council person, all we do is write ordinances and legislation and pass budgets, but the execution is where we're not meeting our expectations right now. I think that's what we feel around the city, is that we feel represented, to an extreme degree, but the execution in some specific areas is important.
May I say something? When we look at our first responders, 70% of our fire persons live outside of the city of Jackson. 30% of our police force is outside of the city of Jackson. Now, it does not take a rocket scientist to know that if these people were living in the city, we would have a reduction of crime. Because if I knew that the police person was down the street from me, the fire person was across the street from me, I would feel much safer. And I think we would have a safer neighborhood if our first responders also lived in the city of Jackson.
I use my little sister as an example of education because she's a teacher over in Bates. And she moved away, went to college, and when she decided where she wanted to purchase a home, she purchased a home in the neighborhood that we grew up in. And I did the same thing. But when she goes to her mailbox, she can see students in her school. That makes the education personal. It's more than just educating someone because this is my job and then I go do it. When you go to the mailbox, now there's a deeper level of accountability because that mama down the street can look up, hey, Bernicia, how you doing? He was doing okay today. You got to work on this. You don't have to go to a parent-teacher conference day when your teacher is in the neighborhood, at your neighborhood association meeting. There's a deeper level of accountability and the rebuilding of community.
And examples for the children.
That's right.
Examples for the children.
And as we rebuild this city, it's going to take village.
Yes.
And so, in my family, we lead by example. When I moved back, I bought a house down the street from my parents. My sister bought a house down the street from our parents. My aunt, and I got 4 other cousins that took advantage of this. The price of the houses in Jackson are relatively, affordable.
Right.
Compared to other
places. So yes, we don't have some things, but we do have. I can't express to you how good it feels to just drive by your parents' house on your way home from work. Hey, how y'all doing? And then go down the corner.
Memories.
The connection we have, we may get on each other's nerves every now and then because we see each other a little more regular than normal. But my nephew is what I call the most blessed young man in the world because he can walk down the street to his grandparents' house, he can walk around the corner to his uncle's house, he can walk around the corner to his auntie's house and go to his cousin's house, all within walking distance. And a lot of young folks don't have that anymore.
Disconnected.
Right, and they're disconnected from their support system.
Other mothers,
right,
and other fathers, and other aunts, and
yeah,
other uncles.
Yeah, and then everybody take turns cooking. Nobody cook every day.
I'm going to get out of here, but thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Ms. Beth. Well, she brought a great point. We need to use this opportunity to rebuild village, right, and rebuild our communities with what we have, because we have that opportunity right now. We don't have some things, but what we do have is special and unique and could lead to the betterment of our families. I know in my neighborhood we have several families who have multiple family members in the neighborhood. My next door neighbor, Mr. Bolton, his brother lives at the end of the street, but we need to take advantage of these opportunities. That's why I talk about housing so much and the housing opportunities that exist here in Jackson, because in a few years there will not be, these $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 houses. You won't see them in the city of Jackson.
I want you to touch on that, and I think Revive Mississippi prides itself on solution-oriented information to the average person on how they can make changes that's going to affect not only their lifestyle but the community. Go ahead.
Let me catch this call and ask you a question in a second. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Good evening, Councilman Steph.
Hey, sir.
Listen, Walmart and Home Depot, one of the incentives that they offer their employees to get them interested and feel like they are a part of the company and for them to do a better job is a stock option. In other words, they offer them stock at a reduced price so that they would become part owners of the company. Thereby, those employees will take more of an interest in pushing the goals and vision of a company. Now, I said this to say this. The same is true when you have people vested in the city. If people work for the city, but they also live in the city, then they feel like, it's a greater urgency for them to do a better job. Listen, if I'm a police officer and if I live in Jackson, I'm patrolling in Madison, and somebody just broke in a house in Madison, I'm a patrolling out there. Listen, I'll look around, whatnot. But if I'm a policeman in Jackson, I live in Jackson, and I'm patrolling my neighborhood, I'm going to look up and down for that crime, because I'm part of that neighborhood. It's my neighborhood.
Right.
So what you're saying is true, and what Jennifer's saying is true, and you really need to keep pushing that issue, because if these people are a part of Jackson, they work for Jackson, they're going to do a better job. If they live in Madison, work in Jackson, unless they just good at heart and got a good nature about them, they may do a good job. But when they're a part of the city, they're going to do their job. But I'm enjoying y'all show, man. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it, brother. You have a blessed day.
The two things I wanted to get you to answer and expound on. One thing that Jackson is seeing right now is break that down with gentrification. We were seeing. The second thing is about the investment, what he just pointed out. It's a difference when you know that your wife, child, or whatever could be affected when you live in that neighborhood because you invested in that neighborhood and you're invested in the vision. And so that plays a major part on how you respond, because it's not like it's cross seas. When you know, for your guys that was overseas, when we hear it here, it means something different when we hear news reported. But when you hear it over there, it's a totally different thing because you're right there in it. And that's how a lot of things are reported about, and a lot of things are talked about by people that are not invested or live here. But the gentrification is the thing we talk about, and the investment is saying that $90 million. What would the $90 million do to coming back to the city of Jackson?
Well, your first question was about gentrification.
Yes, sir.
Gentrification is not a bad term, but how it's traditionally been used, it's been given a negative connotation.
Right.
What I'm trying to do is get the folks who live here to reinvest in here.
Correct.
And fill these vacant houses with houses that we own, that Jacksonians own.
Right.
The people who have borne the brunt of this economic downturn, weathered the storm of the ups and downs of the city of Jackson. I'm trying to encourage us to help fix us.
Right.
Because there are people every day from all over the world purchasing property all over Jackson.
Correct.
And right now, I'm encouraging us to do it. If it's a dilapidated house on your street, you can pick those houses up for under $6,000 nowadays. Let's buy back the block. Let's control our neighborhood by owning the property. Let's make decisions as a community versus as individuals. Let me give you an example of what that looks like practically. Okay, do I really need this Lexus, right? This $1,200 a month car note, or could I just get something that's a little more manageable and then use that other couple $100 a month to purchase a loan for a piece of property here in Jackson that could possibly be a rental property, and then I could get 2 rental properties and get 3 of them. And then now, that's what I mean about buying back the block. Use this tax money you're getting. Had one young lady who got $8,000 back on her income taxes, and she took it and she paid off a few small pieces of the debt she had, but then she purchased, put a down payment on a piece of rental property so that she can grow wealth.
Right.
We got several folks who are doing that around town, so let's use what we have to maximize our futures, because there are people from all over the country that are purchasing this property.
That are not invested.
They're investing but not vested.
Right, right.
Well, you know, when you get into building the village, as we're speaking of, that builds your emotional incentive.
That's
You know,
right.
like the listener had said before, like a police officer who lives in Madison but works in Jackson. Like, if I was a police officer and I knew that there was somebody running through backyards in my neighborhood, like you said, I'm going to be more willing to go out there. Not to say I'm not doing my job if I wasn't living here, but just the simple fact of you want to protect what's your emotional value that you have in your village. And so that goes for everything else and every other job that you may have, or just even if you're just active in your community. It gives you that pride, that unity that we've been looking for so long, that so many of us speak of, but yet it takes that first step in us actually being like, hey, like you say, let's put our money together and get this dilapidated house, or let's just go even fix the yard or something like that.
One thing that I want to encourage, even those brothers and sisters who are police officers, firemen, school teachers who live outside the city, you can still be a part of this.
Right.
You can purchase this property as well.
Right.
You have a vested interest in this property as well, because the property taxes that are paid pay your paycheck.
Right.
So I don't want to just ostracize folks who don't live in Jackson, who maybe work for the school system or police or fire department, but take part in the rebuilding of Jackson.
Right.
And now I can't make that police officer move back to Jackson. But what I can do is encourage that school teacher or that police officer to purchase a few pieces of property in town, right? Let's see how you can be a part of that as well, because I would rather for folks in the region to be owners of the economic rebuilding of Jackson, because it's happening. I mean, when I say it's happening, I know I met with someone today who just bought 200 parcels of land in Jackson.
Right.
200, not 20, not 2,
But
200.
Right.
Right? So there are people who are making serious investments in Jackson, but I want to just encourage folks to, go, take part in the tax sales, take part in the state-owned property, because the state of Mississippi is broke right now. And by August, they're going to have an auction, and the Secretary of State's going to unload all state property in the city of Jackson. So that they're going to do it online. So in a matter of, by this time next year, we talk about the state owning 4,000 or 5,000 lots around town. That will be zero, because the state needs to flush its coffers back out. So I just want to encourage folks that don't just get distracted by these elections. There's business being done. Other folks are talking about this. We're talking about campaigns. They're talking about making money.
Right.
They're talking about getting paid. And so I need for us to elevate our conversations above potholes and water bills to talk about getting wealthy and making money. So, wherever there's a big need, there's opportunity.
Right.
Right now, Jackson needs all levels of housing.
Right.
Because we need lower income housing, homeless housing, senior housing,
Right.
family housing. We need
Working
housing,
class
right?
housing.
We need all kinds of housing, right? So if we need all kinds of housing, and then we have dilapidated houses,
Right.
then we got people who could just shift how they spend money, right? I had a sister come in. I was talking to a sister the other day. She figured that she could pick up a rental property if she just had another $450 a month. She could have a rental property. So she just changed some lifestyle stuff.
Right.
Packed her lunch, few little things here, not go out to eat so much here or there. And she just did some lifestyle stuff and was able to free up enough revenue to make things happen to a better way inside of her, inside her household, and then be a part of, creating wealth.
Would you? There's two things I want. One, we're talking about the investment, and we're talking about those who live outside the city. Is showing them, like you're saying, an incentive, how that money will come back, and it could, relate to an increase in your pay rate, or an incentive. Like, hey, these are houses, we work on a special incentive for all those, work with some local real estate agents, look at some property. Hey, for all law enforcement, fire department, and educators that work for the city of Jackson and want to move back or willing to move back, these are the incentives we can give you for us, discount and things. Matter of fact, they had some property that was in our area that was under the umbrella of It wasn't cafeteria, not cafeteria, what's the other, Boss Care, right? If you was a veteran, educator, or a police officer, you could purchase it for a little bit of nothing, but it's a house that needed work. Those type of incentives will also bring them back, but also it'll help generate that revenue and purchase. Right. Like the more people now renting, but also getting the property up to the point where people want to purchase it and have ownership and invested in it, and that tax and that revenue continue to roll over, you create more opportunity for the community and for your family, because as we talked about before, when you own the home, that's equity. And that equity allows you to come out and be an entrepreneur, to be able to start a business, something that you was good at doing that you did on the weekend. Now you can make a legitimate business out of it. But I wanted to point out some things that we're talking about that go along with our conversation, looking at this flyer here and how it relates. So, and keep going with the conversation. I'm gonna pick on a couple things, and you kind of loop it in for us. Jackson Public School.
Okay. Well, what Mac is looking at is our campaign.
Show him, D-Ray.
I know. I typed it.
I said D-Ray. Show the people. Show the people.
Yeah.
It's a nice flyer.
When it comes to Jackson Public School, right, that is a multifaceted, tangled issue amongst a whole lot of issues, right? But it's going to take us to move from just pointing at the problem to hands on the plow with your ability to fix one of the problems with the solution.
Right.
One of them I just spoke about at the beginning of the show. What is attendance. If we had perfect attendance, we would increase the funding of Jackson Public Schools roughly $12 million a year. If we just had half of our absences go away, that would put $6 million more in JPS.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, even though we're fighting back and forth with the state and the federal government of what is not being done from their end, we need to maximize what we're doing on our end.
Right.
Right.
Daily attendance. The child is not in school for whatever reason. I mean, there are some times where there are valid reasons for a child to not be in school. But let's dig into that issue. I'm glad you asked that question about Jackson Public Schools. Let's dig a little deeper into that, right? Some people say, well, there's truancy laws out there. The truancy officers aren't doing their job. Well, let's ask a deeper question. Well, why not? The truancy officers by law can charge them a $1,000 fine and put them in jail for 30 days. Well, what happens to the children when mama is in jail for 30 days?
Right.
Then the children go in the system. And they go to DHS, and they go to foster care, and they go to somewhere, right?
Even if it is just for 30 days, that's still
right. A month is a long time.
That is,
right.
that's a long time.
All right, so that goes into a deeper. So that goes into a deeper hole. So you hold the parents accountable. I got it. But when you're looking at the attendance of one child who may be a teenager and not coming to school because of other reasons, right? And if we lock mama up, now mama got 3 young children,
right,
who gonna be mama-less,
right,
for a period of time, so it leads to further destabilization. So what I'm pushing is stabilization versus destabilization. We could destabilize, or we could stabilize.
Right.
So the things we're pushing for our next 4 years is GED programs inside the schools for the parents. I have a census tract in my ward where 60% of the adults don't have a high school diploma. And there's a elementary school there with a wing of the school empty. Well, let's move forward with getting some GED teachers and GED prep folks to teach classes in the school, then turn around. When it's time to go to school, you bring your child to school, your child go to their class, you go to your class.
Right.
Excellent idea.
And lunchtime, lunchtime, you come on back, go to lunch with your child, and you go back to class.
Exactly.
That's a good
right? And then time to go home, you pick your child up, you go home to the house. What I'm, as always, I always try to pick the low-hanging fruit. We got some big problems in Jackson.
Right.
But when we start doing the low-hanging stuff, Because if the lights are already on in the school building, the air conditioners are already on, the toilets still already work, we just need to cut the lights on in the empty classroom and fill it with the adults who need to be brought up a level. For example, we partnered with Hines Community College to create a program that brings a person from the 9th grade level of education to the 12th grade. That's right at Hines. We need to get more folks enrolled in this program. So Hines has a program at Hines that will catch you up from the 9th to the 12th grade. We've also created a program that will catch you from the 4th grade to the 9th grade. Because you will be amazed at the number of individuals that we have who are reading and learning, who are adults who are reading and learning below level. Let me catch this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
How you doing, Brother Stamps?
Hey, Malcolm. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I want to say this, man. The S in your name stands for superior. You know, when you talk about education and giving the parents a chance to get GEDs, if parents don't have a GED, that is something that happened in the past. But when you give them a chance to take the test, they may have a chance to probably get a better job. So I do want to applaud you for thinking like that. We have a lot of people up in positions and they don't understand that you have power and give those kind of programs out for the people. And I want the people on May 2nd to remember these 3 things right here. And that's Stamps, Stokes, and Slaughter. And Priester. 4 things. 3 S's and 1 P. Have a good evening.
I appreciate it, Malcolm. Go ahead, man.
When you talk about stabilization and it deals with education, Council Stamps last week, a couple weeks ago, we had Hope Credit Union, We talk about investing in us. Hope Credit Union was born right here in '94 in Jackson, right here in Anderson Church. So we talk about a bank that's predominantly African American membership owned. Brother Stamps took 6 brothers who were recently released from incarceration, and they helped them get not only their birth certificate, but got them an ID, and now they have a bank account. So 6 brothers have been restabilized now by having some of the things that we all take for granted that they did not have. They have a birth certificate. They have an ID, so if somebody asks them for any reason about an ID, they have a state-issued ID, and they have a bank account.
Right.
So once they find employment, they don't have to do business with the check cash. They don't have to run and be forced to go to the liquor store and try to find somebody. They can take that check and put it right in their account and utilize their card. And that we talk about restabilizing our community, because some of those brothers are gonna need to go back to school. They're gonna need to get education. They're gonna want trade. So we have an opportunity to use basic information, is collecting donations and things like that. And the Brother Stamps pays for this out of his pocket for 6 folks. So if we can get enough people to sponsor things like that, and then we can use that same type of formula when we start talking about GED prep for parents. You know, those parents that are, especially those who are unemployed and don't have a job, and they might be utilizing some type of public welfare services to stabilize their economic system in their household. They have the ample opportunity to come to GED programs and also continue to build a stronger relationship with their children. Also, on top of that, you can offer parenting classes.
Yeah. Let me go a little deep on that.
Go ahead.
On that first issue you brought up, Mac. And great points, Mac. You do a great job as always, brother. Every year, the city of Jackson receives on average about 660 brothers and sisters who are returning from incarceration, dropped off in downtown Jackson with no support system, no IDs, no money. They used to at least give them $35 when they got out. Now they get nothing, right? So we went over to New Way is a transition facility, and we picked up a group of good brothers who just need a little guidance, and we took them. We started off at the Social Security office, and to apply for Social Security cards for those who need to apply for Social Security cards. Then we went to the Department of Vital Records to get a birth certificate. The states moved it all the way out in the boondocks in Madison County.
Right.
So we drove over there. You know, the state, that's $17 a piece. Then we came back, went to the Highway Patrol office and got state-issued IDs or updated driver's licenses if those folks qualify for that. Then we left there, went over to the Department of Human Services, picked up, they can also apply for food stamps for us for a small period of time, so they picked up that so they can start getting some food from grocery stores and stuff. Then we went back, Hope Credit Union. I do want to say I appreciate the sisters and brothers at Hope Credit Union because they did something very special and opened them up a bank account for $15 a piece. And that's the lowest opening fee in the whole city. So folks at Hope Credit Union, we appreciate you for allowing these brothers to open up an account for $15 each. But when you add up that, also, some of them got some work boots, but you add up the $17 for the birth certificate, the $11 for the ID, the $15 for the bank account, and $20 for a pair of work boots, for less than $100. And we're talking about the E2. But for less than $100, you can stabilize a man or woman who is in transition.
Right.
And let's catch this caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yes, education is very important for men that been incarcerated. I previously worked at Hines County Sheriff's Department, and I worked with the juveniles, teaching them GED, but it was also adults and females needed that knowledge as well. And when they get out of being incarcerated, they need to go ahead and go to college, pick up a trade, or go to a four-year university. But one thing that Jackson needs to start doing is offering college classes inside of Hines County Sheriff's Department. That's what I think.
It's great, and you brought up a great point because it's something that I know I worked more with the previous sheriff on this issue. I need to get back with the current sheriff about forcing education. If you're going to be in, you're going to be learning, but an actual partnership that's valid. You make a good point about partnering with Hines Community College and just forcing that education, and you're going to be in class all day versus sitting around playing cards, watch TV. Right. But and the same thing with the and these brothers were coming from Parchment that we were dealing with. So you're totally right. I'm all about education and ensuring that people learn as they serve their time.
Right, and then they need to do mock interviews as well. For job interviews, they need to practice on those skills too.
Yes, ma'am. You're totally right. And we appreciate you for calling. Let me catch your next call, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Thank you so much. This is a great topic, so great topic. And this is Patty Patterson. As you know, a lot of the ex-offenders are in this West Jackson community. If each employer, whether you're self-employed or you with a company, corporation, if we take one, if each of us just take one of those that come through the Gateway program, because they've already done a program for a year, so they've gotten somewhat stable, but no transitional housing. So Donald White worked with me, and he's been interviewed. Donald came with me. He had no driver's license. Long story short, since 1991. We got that straight. We prayed about it. It was $9,000 in fines and fees. We got it wiped out between here and Louisiana because he had his heart in the right place. And he came to work with me for a short period of time. Just that little work experience, me teaching him the tools, using the tools and using all saws and things like that, just the work skill, work ethic. Now Donald works down in Hattiesburg now. He left Gateway Rescue Mission, had been incarcerated for 10 years. He now makes $25 an hour in Hattiesburg. So if we just help one, that little time with me and got the recognition from so many people, I can name so many people that helped us, so if we just take one, Dekeither, like you said, and help with that process. I walked up, can you imagine not having a driver's license since 1991?
That's right.
And he's 45 years of age.
That's right.
So when we got that license, we shouted like we were in church. It was such an amazing feeling just to put that back into somebody. I don't have much, but guess what? What God has given me, means much, and I can share it. So I just want to spread that word. Thank you so
And we
much.
appreciate it, Pat. Good, man.
And what you're saying, I think, what was it, what was last year, 2016? So 2015, the sleep out we did, that's what got a lot of this conversation. We had about 5 brothers who showed up at 2 o'clock in the morning. They had been recently released from incarceration and had no stabilization. One brother we called ATF. He had come all the way from Atlanta, same way you said, dropped him off, and he don't have an ID, nothing in his
Let me
hand.
catch the call.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hi, you're the Councilman Sam.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I know you're working hard for other folks, but it's election time. It's election season, and it's time to talk about you. And you don't want to talk about yourself, so I'll talk about you. I categorically endorse the Dekeither stance for Ward 3 Council. I categorically endorse the Dekeither stance for Ward 3 Council. Not because of a handshake or not because of he asking me to. I came to him, and it's because of the hard work that he's done in Ward 5. The people of Ward 5 trust the Dekeither stamps, and they see him working in the community. The Dekeither stamps, as he sits on the city council down there, he never makes a vote category that is counterpart to what the interests of the people in Ward 3 are. So, Councilman Stamps, man, I can't say much for you because your works have spoken for you. You keep championing for Ward 3. You keep championing for Jackson. And as long as you're championing for Jackson and Ward 3, man, we're going to continue to uplift you. You have been up under attack, but haven't you noticed that your strength, your enemies, had to bow down because of your strength? And when your enemy came at you, your supporters came out too. So, and your supporters come out because of who you are, man. Man, you keep doing what you're doing. We're here for you. You keep building that machine for those people down there in Ward 3 that you built. You keep building that. And as long as you're doing that, man, we're going to war with you, and we're going to stand behind your leadership. I'm proud of you. You're my brother. And, man, you keep marching.
Well, I appreciate it, brother.
May 2nd, re-elect Councilman Dekeither Stamps, Ward 4.
Yeah, I do appreciate everyone for that support, but I'm, we do work in all wards. We work all over the place.
All over Jackson.
Yeah, folks call us, need some help with something, we help the folks that call, So, one lady, she sent us a message yesterday. She said, "You're gonna confuse my mama. You all over the place, all over the town. She trying to vote for you. You're not even her council person. But it's gonna take all of us, no matter where you live, serving. If you agree with what we agree with, that we all need to work together to move this city forward, to move this state forward. It's gonna be imperative for us to do so. Matt, you got a few announcements you want to do?
Yeah, got a few announcements. We got another call coming.
No.
All right, few announcements. This Saturday, April 15, 2017, is a community health walk at Pearl Street AME at 7 a.m. So myself, the Brother Mailman, Brother Stamps, we will be there working with Pastor Boyd and his crew. They have a fitness walk out there. Pearl Street AME right across from Western Plaza on the corner of Robinson and Ellis. Same place where we had the 100-man rally. It's a great spot, great location, great people there. So come out, participate, let's get healthy. And let's see what all is going on. Also, we have some more information I got last night. For those who are elderly and disabled, if you know someone that is in need, contact the Human Resources on Maddox. They are working on a process to help them get free air conditioned or even free air units, stoves, and also maybe help support with utilities. These are only for those who apply and who are those that are in need. So, not just for anybody to say, hey, I'm 65 and I need air conditioning. They have to show proof that they are in need of this and they cannot afford to fix it for themselves. So that's Hines County Human Resources right there on Maddox Road. Make sure you check them out. And Councilman Stamps, we talk about a numerous of things, and a lot of stuff I see that you champion about. It talks about, it goes back to money. It goes back to money. The things that would drive a lot of the things that we see that people are trying to do to help destabilize Jackson. It goes back money. I'm just looking at the attack we have going on the school system. is money. The airport, a lot of money, a lot of money. The relationship when the structures with the information from the White House, that's a lot of money that could be trickling down from there. And then, we talk about different things that affects us. And you were saying about veterans, get more veterans involved in more leadership positions. If you can get that type of team together, that's going to help control the money. So a lot of this, what we're dealing with, the attack is to keep certain people away from having the control of the money or being in money.
Hey, Colin, welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Brother Stamps, I'd like to say something. This is Malcolm. This has been on my heart all day to say. We spell Mississippi, Mississippi. That's how we spell Mississippi, right?
Right.
And, there's a lot of S's in Mississippi. So the S's I look at is Stamps, Slaughter, and Stokes. And the two P's at the end of Mississippi, I think about who? Priester and Patty Patterson. Have a good day.
And we got a couple more announcements. On Saturday at 12 o'clock, the City of Easter Egg Hunt will be over right in Ward 4 at the VA Fields. Come on out. And then when you leave there, at 2 p.m. over in West Side, there's some brothers and sisters who are going to be having another Easter Egg Hunt out there. I know it's that season to celebrate Christ and the resurrection. But, we want to just make sure that you participate in the different things that are going on, because this is all community building. This is all relationship. This is all get out of your house, see what's going on around town, bring your children, build village. That's why we have these different events, is so that we can be more communal. Community, it means common unity, right? The folks of common unity go out and rebuild village and build relationships. You'd be amazed at how many folks believe like you believe, think like you think. You just gotta get to know, and it'll help you be a better parent. Helps me be a better man. That's a bunch of older senior brothers that I lean on, and 90% of the stuff y'all see me do, I can't take credit for, because hey little bro, this is what you need to take this angle, take this approach, So for all my young men out there, definitely be encouraged and get some mentorship from some of these older brothers out there. And my sisters the same way. Come to some of these events and pull some of these senior sisters to the side and just talk to them about different things. They'll give you some tidbits and ways to go about different things. And so make sure that you definitely participate in as many community events. Your neighborhood association meetings are important, so you can get to know the folks in your neighborhood. Right. So that we can help step by step rebuild this village. D-Ray, you got a comment you want to make?
I got to tell him something too, D-Ray. Yeah. Because as I said, he ain't gonna say it. Councilman Stamps, for all those who support Councilman Stamps and the things that he do, make sure you come out to Next Level next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. for a chat and chew with Councilman Stamps. And we would like to get anybody that would like to support, be involved and a part of the team. If you would like to drop off a donation or a love offering, we accept those too. But come out to Next Level next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. and Councilman Stamps is going to post a flyer in the feed for those on Facebook. That's all I got.
I guess, since it is, go ahead, D-Ray.
No, I was just going to say I really enjoyed this conversation today. It's a conversation that's always had in homes, but, it's never really something that we really get out to the masses. And just the rehabilitation, reviving, as the show is called, is something that needs to be done. And instead of pointing where to go, it's time to walk where to go.
That's right. And as always, everyone, since we got 4 minutes left to go on the show, I will campaign a little bit.
Oh, okay.
4 years ago, y'all gave us the honor and privilege of being your city council person. We didn't really know all we were getting into, but we have loved it all, ups and downs, highs and lows, goods and bads. We have really enjoyed and grown. Me personally, I just want to say thank you. Just as a man, I have grown as a man in this process. And, some stuff we were successful on, some stuff we were unsuccessful on, some stuff we were a little knucklehead about. But we've been aggressive in all endeavors and trying to represent Ward 4, City of Jackson, and ourselves the best degree possible. And we would just be overjoyed and appreciative if you come to the polls on May the 2nd and allow us to keep doing it. I didn't get into this because I had some kind of political aspiration. I got a speeding ticket. and got into it with JPD, and the judge didn't treat me right, and I didn't think the city treated me right. And I got pissed off, and I said I want to change some stuff, and so that's how we even started down this road, and I appreciate folks for allowing us to be that city council person for the last few years, and we just want to keep doing it because we like what we're doing and we enjoy it. And we really starting to figure some stuff out, and we're starting to be productive, and we just appreciate allowing us to keep working. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. We got 2 minutes left to go. What's your question or comment?
Everybody should start the show.
Not yet, brother. They're gonna be on in a little bit.
About what time?
At 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
And as always, everyone, we appreciate the time you give us to be your city council person. And on May the 2nd, we appreciate if you come on out to the polls and vote for Dekeither stamps for Jackson City Council Ward number 4. For everybody over in Brook Hollow, Oak Creek, Cedar Hills, West Side, Northwest Hills, Bel Air, Grove Park, Willowwood, Carriage Hills, Milo Circle, Queens, and we appreciate you coming out to vote. And as we end all of our shows, never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own people, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. Love you, Mississippi. Handyman, take us on out of here.
Hey.
I love y'all too. Facebook, I love you. If anybody told you today, Dekeither stamps love you.
Hey. I shout you out for everybody, baby.
You said post.